Welcome back, Las Vegas and the world. Yes. Well, myself, Pastor Frase, and we have Michele Kubiak. She's going to talk a little bit later about Michelle's realtor, we call it REM, right?
No, MK's Real Estate Moments.
Yeah, REM, Real Estate Moments.
Yeah, REM, man, sleep.
Very good. We'll be talking about, anyway, probably what we really want to talk about right now, and we're introduce a very special guest here today. We're very, I'm going to say we're very blessed to have him here.
Yes.
And we're going to let him introduce himself, and we'll talk a few questions with him and let him go with that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Deacon Tom Moore. Tom, welcome this morning.
Good morning. It's great to be here. Yeah. Great to be here.
You are a very busy man these days. I want to say, in the sense of the awareness that you're giving to our community through your spirituality, sir. That's what I call it, because I've watched your other program that you have, and we'll talk about that later. But you have brought forth a lot of timely subjects, a lot of timely topics. And I want to tell you, just from my heart, that the first time I watched you was a few weeks ago, watching on social media networks, and you were talking about a subject that perked me up, and that's called, why do you have to act like that if you're disrespected? That show, and the stories that you told about that show, somebody shooting and killing somebody because they're disrespected, and you got deep on what does it mean to be disrespected. Come on, why is that a reason to do what that is? After that, you hit me hard. I watched your shows, and that same day, I went on your website and asked for a prayer. And this was very timely for me because I have a relative who started cancer treatment the day before. And he was at the Children's Hospital in Seattle. Anyway, what happened was they started cancer treatment, chemo on this guy, and he's a 17-year-old kid getting ready to graduate 4.0. They found out a few days later they shouldn't have done that. Your prayers, I want to say, sir, because I prayed heavy and hard when I saw you, and we were praying with friends in the family, and I felt your program was there praying for me. It was, I have to say, it was kind of a miracle, because they found out this gentleman, he had 4 chemo treatments, no more. They sent him back home. He's back in Missoula, healthy as an ox.
And
that is, well, it was just right there hit me. So anyway, that show in itself, just watching that show for the first time, you've got a believer, my friend, and tell us more. I mean, what got you into this? Why do you have this love? What is it that brings you forth into doing this weekly, daily, actually, Tom?
Yeah, we do it all the time. I'm going to tell you, I think what really got me going was that my wife encouraged me to do this. I grew up in the Catholic Church. As soon as I was old enough to get out of the reach of my parents, I took a left and vacated from church. And we were going through some stuff in our life, and I thought life was doom and gloom and over. And my wife, who is the child of a ordained minister in the Lutheran Church, I was literally sitting on the floor in our bedroom. And I said, you know what? I've got a big life insurance policy. And I know what I need to do. And then you'll be able to take care of these kids because you'll have this money. And I was serious. I wasn't depressed. I was kind of making a plan. I'm a contractor, builder guy, and I was just making a plan. And my wife actually physically whacked me back in the head.
Sounds like a passage from the Bible.
And in those days, she was going to church every Sunday morning and taking the kids. I was going to work out. And so she said, you know, when you find out God is all you need, you'll figure out God is all you have. Why don't you go to church with me? And I went to church, ended up getting baptized again, in baptism where I understood what was going on. And long story short, they saw me helping out around the church, just doing stuff because I saw things that needed to do. I have carpentry skills, and they said, "Hey, why don't you come over here and be a deacon? We'll put you in these classes for the next couple of years. Maybe you can stand up in front of people. How about if you start teaching in the adult Sunday school?" That led to me started getting invited to go to other people's church when they were on vacation to fill in for them. But I mean, I never wanted to really be out front, truthfully. And one day my wife, and I hate it when y'all do this to us, when you play back your own, she said, "Remember when you said that because the man is the head of the household, spiritually, that if he's off course or off this, the household could be being missing blessings. You have an anointing on your life. You're choosing to ignore it. You understand that that's causing your children, your wife, and the people in our village to suffer." So she kind of just,
Did it again, right?
yeah, exactly. And that's what started it.
You had a little bit before we went on. You talked about your grandfather, and let's hear. I wanted to hear that story because I know Maria mentioned me.
About my father-in-law.
Father-in-law. I'm sorry, I
father-in-law.
stand corrected. Your
Yeah,
father-in-law.
yeah.
Yes.
So my father-in-law was like amazing, and he was an ordained Lutheran minister, and this is now I'm talking in the '60s, and he was very, and my wife is black, my father's black, and the Lutheran church was not the most progressive church,
And also to be a black man and a Lutheran minister. That was really a different kind of subject right there.
There were some, but it was not common.
Right.
And at the time, he was in Detroit, and he was running a church in the hood. And he was, I used to hear these stories, how involved and influential he was in the civil rights movement, and how he did these programs for youth, who today we would say were youth at risk, basketball programs for black kids in the neighborhood, swimming programs for black kids in the neighborhood, all kinds of stuff.
God, he was like a YMCA kind of in a way.
The church didn't really want to get with his progressive ideas about race, and so he decided, I'm gonna go about my way. I'm gonna go back, get my PhD in divinity, and
Excellent.
he became a 37-year professor of divinity at the Lutheran School of Theology at the University of Chicago. He spoke, he passed 6 African dialects, a handful of other languages. He can read and translate from Greek and Hebrew and Latin. I mean, this guy was the real deal. But one day my wife said to me, just to give you an idea what kind of a person he was within the whole race world, the whole black and white thing. She said, when she was in like the 8th grade, she came down one day from her room, and her father said, "Come here, honey, I want to introduce you to somebody. This is Martin Luther King."
Oh.
Wow.
And my wife tells a story, and it's very funny because she says, I said, "Hi, Dr. King," and just kept walking. And of course, today,
Yeah.
Yeah. So Martin Luther King was having lunch at my father-in-law, my in-law's house.
Yes.
And so I used to talk to him all the time, way before I ever got involved in this. And he was just a real encourager. And he passed away, and he had, they created a chair in his name, an endowment at the school. And I have the chair in my office. And it has his name on it. And when they created this chair, and you say, where do these things come from? I go to my office, and I look at the chair, and it says Albert P. Perro on the back, and it says the dates and that, and it just starts me going. And
Well,
that's where it came from.
Your father-in-law, amazing. I had the fortune of stepping on that campus in Chicago, So I know what school you're talking about. I actually have a degree in religious studies myself, and I wanted to go there and see that school. I was living in the Midwest at the time, so if anybody graduated and he was a professor there, PhD, what an amazing man. And I thought while you were talking, one door closed and another one opened. That was good what happened to him to get away from what was going on in his church that he was so dedicated to end up moving over and becoming the educator he was. I mean, what a blessing.
Producing all of these young people
Yes.
and putting them back out into ministry.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
This is a show of deep breathing
Yes.
on this part here, and we want to also thank you, Tom, because not only are you here today, but you are one of our major sponsors of Social Media Shows Network, and you also have your own show. Tell us when and all that good about it. Tell us.
So we have services, messages, sermons, what you like, every Sunday morning, 10 a.m. live, and then they're rebroadcast, and then they're right on our website. You can go there anytime and look them up if you missed it at 10.
Sure, and that's what I've done. I mean, Social Media Shows Network reproduces, re-shows those, and so
you would go to Modern Word Ministries,
yes,
plural, modernwordministry.org, and there to be, and Maria's our producer,
right,
and
right.
it's awesome.
Well, we want to, once again, I'm sitting next to two people of prestige in the sense of what you've done for social media networks. You're both sponsors. And sponsorship is very important. We appreciate it if you are interested in being a sponsor, looking at a program, maybe even coming on and talking about your own program. Please contact Social Media Shows Network. We'll be happy to put you in the place that you want to be in. We really appreciate that. So thank you so much for those sponsors, and thank you for considering being a member and a sponsor of Social Media Shows Network. Anyway, Tom, I want to what is it that motivates you to give you the ideas of the topics each week? I mean, you're it'd be like you're getting, may I say, because I grew up in a tradition, I'll say this word, it's like you're getting your homily together, and you're going to do it for your service. And by the way, your service is also going to be on social media shows. I mean, it's going to be seen that way. So you're doing something for these people they're at your service. They're there live, listening to you, the message you're giving, and then you share that with us on the media network. But what motivates you? What gives you those ideas, Tom? That gets you?
You know, sadly, for the most part, the current world is an unending source of topics. Excuse me. So I'll be listening to something, see something on the news, or I have the blessing to have 3 children.
The reality, huh? Okay.
34, 27, and 20. And I'll hear their friends. They'll be looking at stuff, and I hear the things that people say. It blows my mind. It blows my mind that you think you've been here for 2 weeks and should be the manager.
Oh.
It blows my mind. It blows my mind that this is the most unchurched generation in the history of church. Millennial and Z people, the most unchurched. And while we're all responsible for our own salvation, I think the church, whatever denomination, has a responsibility to reach the unchurched. I think if you look at what Jesus said about it, right, is that, he was a doctor, he was going out to find the sick. He didn't wait for the sick to come to him.
Right.
And what we as a church group need to do is begin to talk to people about how this Bible was written 2,000 years ago relates every single day to your life today if you understand where to find something. That the answers to questions about I'm filling out this form online, and it made a mistake, and the bank deposited an extra $1,000 in my account. It's a computer mistake. Not my mistake. I'm keeping the money. Nah. You check that Bible out, and that it is our responsibility to set the tone, to make this stuff receivable, to understand the audience. The reason it's called Modern Word Ministries is because I didn't want it to sound like my grandmother's church, where my grandmother took me to church with her every Sunday, even through high school, and I would go home. And I said, man, I just had a great history lesson today. There was some guy, and he was over on an island, and he was crazy as I don't know what. And Jesus went over him. Just like that. The guy wasn't crazy anymore. And he made the crazy go into the pigs. And the pigs ran into the water. And then Monday, just a story. And there was no linkage. I never had a link between what was happening in my life and what was in the book.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, people who listen, you listen, don't leave there and say, I wonder what he meant by that. I mean, how do I use that? Because I try to not make it too churchy.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely don't make it too long.
Right.
I'm sorry. Good, bad, or indifferent. The people today, their seat time, like their seat, they'll only sit still for so long. And if it takes you 2 hours,
they're not going to get the message.
You probably lost
Yeah.
them.
yeah. And by the way, Sunday service isn't about Bible study. So it's supposed to be like,
Message.
get them on the hook, reel them in, and cause them to want to explore and move on and go to Bible study and get in it themselves. And when you're trying to do all that on Sunday, it takes 2 hours. And it's not going to work. It's got to be short. It's got to be punchy. It needs to be in vernacular people understand and can relate to. And it needs, at the end, I believe, create linkage between the person and the message, the section of the Bible you're talking about.
Timely wisdom, sir. Timely wisdom. And you're right. I have watched the show, and being a little bit more knowledgeable about the Bible itself, I took the message that you were talking about, and I could see how it did relate to the Bible. But that isn't what you were talking about. You were talking about issues that were right now, good, bad, and in this case, it was ugly. The one that I was talking about, that was on disrespect. That was an ugly one, but you made the point. And every Sunday, or when you're on, you've got me hooked in that way.
10 a.m.
I know, 10 a.m. 10 a.m.
Every Sunday, social media networks, and modernwordministries.org.
Yes, yes. If somebody out there wants to personally donate to you because they believe in what you're doing in your mission, and how do they contact you, Tom?
If you go to our website, this is probably the easiest thing that can happen. I can do it. It's so simple.
Okay.
Mr. Not Tech Savvy. That's why Maria will forever have a job. But honestly, you go to modernwordministries.org,
mm-hmm.
and it opens right up, and there's a tab about this big that says support this ministry. You click on there, put your debit card or whatever info in there, off it goes right to the bank, and we appreciate you.
Well, and there's another thing in there you have, that because I use it. Prayer request.
Same
My
thing.
Gosh.
You go to the website.
I found it, yes.
And right there, you scroll down, it says, if you're in need of prayer, if you want to talk to somebody, you know what? I'm not pretending I'm the Pope, T.D. Jakes, Joel Osteen. You know what? I've got my telephone number in there. You can call me. I'm just a regular guy.
Yeah.
Let's not get too self-impressed. I'm here because it's about service, about serving people. You know, when they went to heaven and the guy said, and Jesus, God, came to the door, he said something real interesting. Well done, my good and faithful servant. He didn't say, well done, my good and faithful preacher. He didn't say, well done, my good and faithful deacon, my good and faithful cleaner of the church, all this stuff that's important. It's about service. This whole thing is about service.
Amen.
So
Amen.
you can get me through the website. You can email me. It's all in there. You can literally call me. Patrick, email me. And I say in there, I'll answer you. Did I answer?
Yes. Yes, you did.
I figure you're not writing in for me to not answer.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short break, and we're going to actually feature a couple of our sponsors here on this little commercial break. So please stick around. We want to thank you once again, Tom.
Yes, thank you.
We've got another little
Thank you.
special segment coming up here in a moment, and you're going to enjoy this too. So thank you, folks. Happy Las Vegas morning to you. We'll be right back.
This show is brought to you by Modern Word Ministries.
I can already feel you judging me, and not for what I've done in the past, but for what I'm about to do. I had what mattered, and I got careless. Like, I don't deserve more. I don't deserve sympathy. I don't deserve to be here.
Where the hell are you? Why aren't you answering your phone?
Jenna, what is the matter with you?
Someone once told me, you may not be everybody's cup of tea, but you're somebody's shot of whiskey.
Excuse me, ma'am. My car ran out of gas and I left my wallet at home. Could you please spare a couple dollars so I can refuel my vehicle?
I literally have nothing.
What's it gonna take to get you to join a program?
Get back, dog! If Jesus wanted you to have a dog, he would have blessed you with a bowl and a leash now, wouldn't he?
Hello, everyone. This is Joseph Skoda with Social Media Shows. Well, I thank all of you for your support through these last several years, and it's been a lot of fun. We've given people a voice they never had before. Now, Social Media Shows is always collaborating with our veterans to help them do things and help out the veterans who are struggling today. And we teamed up with GI Connections, connecting veterans with resources. So please consider helping and donating to this great cause, because we're always doing things for veterans. So GI Connections, Social Media Shows, and you is what makes the world a better place. Once again, Joseph Skoda, proud United States Air Force veteran.
Welcome back, everyone.
I love it.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine. And we have a little bit more coming from our deacon. And we were just talking about how Patrick was talking about it being volunteer week. And tell us about what you're involved in the volunteer sector besides what you do on a daily basis.
Sure. So our church decided that we wanted to be involved in feeding the homeless in Las Vegas. You know, anybody who knows anything about Las Vegas, it's like every other big city, and we have a significant homeless problem and a problem just with lack of services for people who are, quite frankly, on the street, starving. And how this came up really is that somebody came to me and we were talking about it and said, yeah, did you see all those homeless people over there? I said, yeah, man, really seems to be getting worse. And this was right after COVID started. And they said, yeah, you know, for cleanliness reasons, for COVID reasons, the city and county went around and turned off all the water fountains in the parks.
Oh, wow.
I remember that.
So
I remember.
I'm going to give you 3 guesses where a lot of the homeless people in the street got their water for drinking, bathing, and toothbrushing. And you know, I'm not trying to be rough or crude, but when you're taking a bath in a drinking fountain to start with, it's not a good situation.
Correct.
Okay?
Right.
But now these things have been taken away because everyone was concerned about COVID and spreading COVID by drinking fountains and stuff. So all those water sources were taken away. And so my wife and I just decided, you know, we're relatively a small church. I mean, we are a small church. We can't do everything for everybody. And, you know, through the grace of God, we found somebody who would help us. And we originally were at my house with pots of spaghetti, without exaggeration, this big, and getting the styrofoam boxes, and my in-laws and people and me, and we were packing this stuff. And it worked, but it was like a lot of work and really messy. And we found out that, you know what? People love a cheeseburger and fries and a drink, non-soda drink. People need water on the street more than anything.
Sugar, yeah.
So we found somebody in a local fast food, and we tell them in advance, and they gave the church a really good deal, so we can feed twice as many as we were with the same money. And we literally, at our church, take every dime that's donated and use it to feed the homeless. My wife and I, as our tithing, pay studio time, we need a new camera. None of the tithing money goes to feeding the homeless, to supporting the church infrastructure. My wife and I do that. Mm-hmm. And so we just really put it in there. Me personally, secondarily to feeding the homeless, was on the board of New Horizons Center for Learning for the past 17 or 18 years. Mm-hmm. And New Horizons Center for Learning is the only not-for-profit public school, private school, in the state for children with learning disabilities and learning issues.
Wow.
So my daughter had some issues. We couldn't figure it out. We didn't know where to go. Like most parents, I just wanted to help my daughter. And somebody said, "You ever hear of New Horizons?" And I said, "No." And 17 years later, I was still there on the board.
Wow.
And I have since resigned from the board, but still help them and do things with them.
Well, just speaking about that, I promote a lot of what's going on in the community with entertainment. There's an event coming up at the Italian American Club, and I believe a good portion of that, with all these entertainers, is going to New Horizons.
Awesome.
Italian American Club, I think it's coming up
It's
in a couple weeks.
It is.
Yes.
It's an amazing school. It's in a building that was donated by the Lead Foundation many years ago, and God bless them for donating it. But it is an old building. I'm in the construction development world. I try to get people to help. You know, say, hey, help fix the parking lot. Hey, help with the roof. But I will tell you this: when you're a parent and you look, in this case, at my little girl who was in the second, going to third grade, and your child looks at you and says, because one minute you're upset, the next minute you're hugging her, you just want her to get 2 + 2 is 4. And she says, "It's okay, Daddy, don't be sad." I'm stupid, I'll never know.
God bless you, brother.
I'm going to tell you, I said, "You know what? Can I just give you a hug? And we're going to go get like an ice cream right now." Because there's some stuff more important than that. And my wife and I went on a mad scramble to figure this out. You know, public schools are great. They got 35 kids in every class, and they're not really set up for that. And when we went to the school, they said, "Oh, well, we'll get to her. It'd be like 12 to 15 months to get her tested." I said, 12 to 15 months. That's
Yeah.
another whole school year.
Yes.
Well, if you have $2,500, it could happen Tuesday. So it's yeah. So that's what got me into New Horizons. It's obviously a real emotional thing for me because out there are parents just like me who see the child who's perfectly normal, but she just learns differently.
Right.
It isn't that these kids can't learn. It's just they don't learn like everybody else learns. And so you need to have really small groups and specially trained teachers and administrators who say, you know what? I'm going to figure out the combination to your lock so that you can learn. And the little phrase that we use at New Horizons is, every child can learn on their own day and in their own way.
Excellent. Well,
That's it.
with that said, how can those out there donate to your heart? How do they get a hold of you if they want to donate to you once again, Tom?
You can call me, 702-497-4002, or you can email me at deacontommore@gmail.com, and I will get you hooked up with the right people. And I promise you this, whether you give to the church to help feed the homeless, we need help distributing the food, it will open your eyes to what's going on in Las Vegas, because it's shocking how many women and children and young people are out in the streets with nowhere to go, nowhere to eat, nowhere to sleep. If you're interested in helping us with the New Horizons, I'll take you over there and I'll just leave you alone. And you can talk to the kids, or you can talk to their parents who say, I didn't know what I was going to do, and I found New Horizons, and I believe my child will now succeed.
I love that.
Well,
That's so
hallelujah.
powerful. Yes.
Here, what an inspirational day here on Rise and Shine. Such inspiration. And we want to thank you once again,
Yes,
Tom, for
thank
being
you.
here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you. And we're going to take another short break because we have another very special MK segment coming on. And we want to thank you to our sponsors once again. Please stay tuned, folks. We love you being here. Keep on shining. Keep on rising. We'll be back in a few moments. Thank you.
Live streaming on social media is the best new way to interact and bond with your community. Do you love to encourage, motivate, and empower others, but you do not know how? Well, your opportunity starts with us on social media shows. We have 20 shows a week live streamed across the globe, with a reach of over 80,000 and growing. So you can host your own show, and you can be anything you want to be. So let's bring the community together, and let's bring the world to you. Join us now. We've reached the age of live streaming on social media shows. You may ask, we're already ahead of the curve, so why do you need to advertise with us? Well, only 8% of the businesses in the US are using digital advertising to grow their business. That's 2 percentage points short of reaching critical mass, which will lead to faster results. We have 20 plus shows with a reach of over 80,000. We'll give you commercial ads, website link, and connections to nonprofit organizations. So get your brand ready for digital monetization, for we are looking for sponsors, which will bring more traffic to your business and ultimately mean more sales. So let's bring the world to you. Inquire now.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have our very special weekly segment at this point, and we're very happy to have with us one of our sponsors. It's going to be Michele Kubiak and the Real Estate Moments. Michele, welcome and thank you.
Hey, thank you. And what a tough act to follow after having Deacon Tom here. I mean, that was some powerful moments with him. And today, I want to talk to you about, first of all, I am Michele Kubiak with Brookshire Hathaway Home Services of Nevada. My phone number is 702-683-6576. you can follow me on Instagram at Michele_M as in Michelle, Kubiak, Las Vegas Realtor, and make sure to spell Michelle with one L. And so today I have some graphics that I want to go over with you. The Market Watch is one of them, which to the normal eye, you might not know what this is, but I'm going to break down the numbers for you. So what we have, what it shows is the new listings, how many came back on the market, price reductions, etc. But the key numbers to look at is the listings that come on the market compared to what's gone under contract. And so when right now what's under contract is more than what's coming on the market. And like you probably saw in the commercial ads is like we have low inventory in Las Vegas. You know what the common reason for that is because people were locked in during 2020, 2021 with those really low interest rates, and they don't know what they could go out there and buy. So being that we have these numbers, more people aren't selling their homes right now. They are, but we're putting a lot under contract. So what does that mean for, is it a buyer's market or a seller's market? Well, the last couple of years, a balanced market has came. My experience over doing this for so long is when you have more sales to listings on the market, we're turning into a seller's market again, and we're seeing multiple offers on properties. So if you're a buyer and you're out there wanting to buy a home, give me a call and we can get you into a home. Your first step would be to, get pre-approval, but first step, call me and I can connect you with the right people. I was just recently at an economic forum that was brought to the general membership meeting is what it is for Las Vegas realtors. And for the economic forecast, they showed that out of all the other states that we have moving here, we are the top states that businesses from California are moving here from. So we beat that by a landslide. So we have multiple Californians moving here for business for many different reasons, because California is imposing what's called a mansion tax. So there's a lot more people wanting to get out of California to avoid that mansion tax. And then we have the number of people moving here per hour was also keyed at this economic forum, and it's 8.2 people are moving to Las Vegas per hour. So I'm working on getting the numbers of the people moving out, but there's a lot more moving in than there is people moving out of Las Vegas. So again, we have the market forecast, we have the economic forecast with the number of businesses coming here. That should be coming up on the screen here. And then you can see that versus other states. And then we also have the 8.2 people moving here per hour. Yes, it's amazing. It's busier than I've seen it lately because we had like kind of a lull last year. But with multiple offers out there, just make sure that you're getting hooked up with a realtor, hopefully me, and getting your pre-approval done, and just really get out there and go shopping for a home. Interest rates keep fluctuating, but for the last few weeks they've been going down. So thankfully next week we're going to have a lender on here talking about those financing questions and how you can still beat out multiple offers in this market. And as you see there's new 8.2 residents moving here every hour. So if you ever have any questions about anything real estate, I have been a licensed realtor here in Las Vegas since 2001. I love helping people, And it's ironic when we had the deacon here, he talks about serving, and that's what I feel like I do in my business is I'm there to serve you. I'm there to provide the best customer service, and just it's not sales. It's just helping you get into your dream home, because everybody needs a house, right? So again, if you want to reach me, you can follow me on Instagram. You can also call me, text me, 702-683-6576. I would be honored to help you.
This show is brought to you by Michele Kubiak. If you want to buy or sell a home, call Michele, 702-683-6576.
Welcome to social media shows. Have you been watching social media shows recently? Of course you have. We have been live streaming for 4 years across social media platforms. We produce over 70 shows with over 1,000 episodes. In the process, we've helped over 100 creators realize their dreams and start their own show. We give platforms to promote your business. If you are an artist, if you have an event, if you are entrepreneurs, or if you have a story. If you haven't done it yet, go ahead and subscribe and follow us on major social media platforms. And if you have a great idea of a show, join us. Social media shows can help you produce and live stream your own show. Let us help you make your dream become a reality.
Thank you once again to my co-host, Michele Kubiak, and our sponsor, Michele Kubiak, Real Estate Moments. That was a great segment there. Thank you so much for what we learned something from you today, Michele. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. I always love educating about the real estate market. And if there's ever any topic that you want us to cover to learn more of for you, please send us a DM, and we'd be happy to cover that content for you. And one more thing I wanted to mention, I mentioned it last week, one of my clients / friends / drum instructor is actually hosting a drum clinic on April 22nd with the co-instructor is actually Les Warner from The Cult. So if you have anybody that you want to learn drums, or if you yourself, I started playing in 2020. It was a dream of mine, and in 2020 I was 51 years old, so you're never too old for that type of a dream.
So are you a filly that drums? Because you have a colt.
Yeah.
So,
No. No, but Les Warner of The Cult. So, but if you want more information about that, you can send us a DM too. I'll send it to Maria. The cost is $25. You can go on and look at it at heliosranchlv.com, or send us a DM. What else do you have for these beautiful people?
Well,
today?
what I want to hear is we got to get him on the show.
Yes.
Yeah, we got to get him on the show. And for the beautiful people. Yes, beautiful people, drummers. And I'm a drummer.
Yeah.
And once again, we want to say congratulations and thank you. It is National Volunteer Week, so we want to thank all those volunteers. We're both heavily involved in our own ways, volunteering in our community here in Las Vegas, and we hope that you are anywhere around the world you're watching this. So with that said, I think we had a great show. This is one of the best shows we've done. Personally, inspirational. Oh my gosh, wasn't it? So we want to say stay tuned. Please contribute and care for, or I should say patronize is the right word, to all of our sponsors out there. We thank Social Media Shows Network for having this program, and we would love to see you come on a program like this. And like what she said, DM us. give us a private message. Contact Maria, our executive producer, and we can see what we can do for you. But until then, have yourself another great week from Mr. Shine. Happy week.
Happy week.
Yes. All right. Thank you, folks.